Hey, disgruntled. Couldn't really find any chairs, so I just had to use this. Taller than everything, but you know what can you do? I hope you're having a good Christmas Eve. It's almost Christmas time. Hope you have a good Christmas if you're watching this on Christmas. If you're watching it now, I hope you have a future good Christmas, which is in a day. I guess I'll get to this recap.
I'm a disgruntled Eagles fan, and we're awesome.
What a game! What a freaking game! That was freaking crazy. I almost called that 14-point lead, but you know what? The 2018 Eagles are known for almost blowing fourth quarter leads, and they almost did that. The Houston Texans came back, scored 2 touchdowns, took the lead, but with the final 2 minutes, Jake Elliott, our savior, scored a field goal, in which he redeemed himself for missing that freaking extra point. And we ended up winning 32-30. Nick Foles was dominant as ever. He had 470 yards with 4 touchdowns. Only problem was that he had 1 interception and 1 fumble that almost cost us the game. But he made up for that with that 400-plus yard game and 120 QBR, or passer rating, or whatever it's called. But I'm just so stoked because Nicky Foles is back and he brought that magic to beat the Houston Texans. And also, Zach Ertz passed the most receptions by a tight end, passing Jason Witten, and he has 112 receptions on the year. That's freaking crazy. He passed Jason Witten, who previously held the record at 110. You probably heard it every game for the past 4 games on when he's going to break it. I thought that he was going to split it up and break it next game against the Washington Redskins. But he just decided to get, 11 receptions, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just a normal day for Zach Ertz, right? That ties the record for most 11-plus receptions by a tight end at 6. He has 6 total games where he has 11-plus receptions in a single game, tied with Tony Gonzalez. I think that's how you pronounce that name. But he is getting up there with the greats, the great tight ends of this league. And he might be the greatest of all time if he continues this throughout his rest of his career. And I hope he does, and I think he will. Now let's get back to Nick Foles. He was able to dominate this game. I mean, when I say dominate, I mean absolutely dominated this game. He was throwing bombs left and right. He was avoiding tackles. He was doing his magic. The refs were against us this game. What's new, right? We beat the Houston Texans and the refs this game. I mean, how don't you call that flag on Nick Foles when you're going for a 2-point conversion? How don't you call a face mask on that? Literally, Clowney just grabbed his face mask and just pulled him to the ground. How don't you call that? And then there was that one penalty called on Brandon Graham. How was that roughing the passer? What could he have done? That was absolutely crap. That was BS. The refs were against us this game, but it didn't define the game, meaning that we still controlled our own destiny and we were still able to pull off a very good victory. And Darren Sproles, how about him? He was Mighty Mouse the entire game. He was freaking unbelievable. Now that is why we missed him. He can do that elusive stuff, and we've really missed him throughout this season. And that's why he's one of the most key part of this offense, because he was able to do what he does. And he was getting touchdowns left and right. And he was getting yards left and right. That is what you call a dominant performance by a veteran. And he's freaking getting up there in age too. And he's still being able to perform like he did when he was in his early 20s. Now that's what you call a Hall of Famer. And he has a couple of Super Bowls to back it up. Now, let's get to the Eagles' offensive line. They just dominated the Houston Texans' defensive line. And that's one of the ways that I said that the Eagles are going to win this game. If the offensive line dominates the Houston Texans defensive line, and they did just that. DeAndre Hopkins just went off, and we were all expecting that because none of us expected any of our corners to stop him. He's just too unbelievably good. We were running constantly too as well, and which helped us win this game, and Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz were being creative. The offense won this game instead of the defense this time, and which means that we have a complete team. And it was one of those nail-biter games as well, which just almost gave me a heart attack. Now I'm going to wrap this video up real quick and talk about our playoff chances. Our playoff chances is we're only going to get into the playoffs if these two things happen. One, we need to beat the Washington Redskins. If we don't beat the Washington Redskins, then we're not going into the playoffs. The second thing that needs to happen, along with us winning the Washington Redskins, is that if the Bears beat the Vikings. We need the Bears to beat the Vikings. And the Bears are going to probably start their starters because they're going to be playing for that first round bye, which we really need them to do. We need the Bears to dominate the Vikings so that we can walk into the playoffs. If any of those don't happen, then we're not getting to the playoffs. So it's just going to be this week, all or nothing. But I think that we can beat the Washington Redskins, and I think that the Bears can beat the Vikings, and that's our only chance. Dallas already clinched the division, and the Seattle Seahawks won last night, so they cannot be eliminated, because they already clinched that 5th wild card spot. That's all that I want to say for this episode of Disgruntled, and thank you for watching.